I'm almost not sure that there's any point after all your great answers just now carrying on with a short talk, because I was just going to unpack this parable just a little bit, but so much of what I was going to say has already been said. So I don't think there's any great theological insights I can bring out of this, but let's just have a look and think a bit more about those three characters. We normally refer to this story as being the prodigal son or the lost son. We could equally call it the loving father, or maybe the jealous brother. All of these three characters feature in different ways. We've had the opportunity to think about which one of these characters we perhaps relate to best. And as has already been said, maybe it's varied at different times in our lives. Maybe we've been that rebellious person at times. Let's put our hands up if any of us have been through those times of rebellion, when we've rebelled against parents or school, or maybe even against God. Yeah, many of us have rebelled. Some of us have even rebelled even after we became Christians, or even after we'd maybe been baptized. We've not always stayed on the path that God wanted for us. We've drifted away from him. So maybe we relate to the younger brother most. We've talked about the older brother, the one we're calling the jealous brother, the one who stayed behind, the one who carried on working on his father's farm, working hard, getting on with all that was required, maybe having to work extra hours since his brother had left so suddenly. Maybe the jealousy didn't just come at the end, but there was a period of feeling resentful. He was left there doing all the work. Maybe some smouldering resentment and envy about his brother. Maybe he was thinking that his brother was having a great time with all the money, living the high life, wine, women and song. So when the younger brother eventually returned, the smouldering resentment spilled over into jealousy and anger. So maybe you relate to this young man. We've already said it might be around siblings that there's some envy, some jealousy. Maybe you think one of your brothers or sisters is treated differently to you. Maybe they get better presents. Maybe they don't get punished in the same way you do. Maybe they got better exam results, or maybe a better job. Maybe they look better than you. They're prettier. They're faster. They're stronger. Lots of ways that might cause us to feel jealous of somebody. Can any of you remember at school there might have been a girl in the class who, as well as being the prettiest, was also the first violinist. She was always the lead in the play. She was captain of the hockey or the netball team. No end to this girl's talents. And you may have been sat there thinking, you're not very pretty, you're not very bright, you're not sporty, you're not musical. Lots of ways that we may feel jealous. Sometimes, as I think Zoe mentioned, our jealousy might be justified if one of our brothers or sisters is treated differently to our parents. So these things may make you feel justifiably jealous. And maybe we feel empathy with the jealous brother. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, there's the father. We don't often criticize the father in this story, but maybe, just maybe, we might question his actions. Was he right in giving the younger son the money when he was asked for it? So maybe he was looking for trouble in treating this son differently to the older brother. Maybe you feel he wasn't very wise in throwing a big celebration when the son returned home. Maybe he should have kept things a bit more low-key. As earthly fathers and earthly mothers, maybe we're not perfect. We've made mistakes in our parenting. Maybe we're living with some regrets for the way we've treated our children. Maybe we've brought some trouble on ourselves, and relationships with children might be difficult because of the way we've treated them. So we're not perfect, just as this father wasn't perfect. But this story is actually talking about God as a loving father, and that father is perfect. There's no fault in him. He never does anything wrong. He always looks out for our interests. He's able to look past our rebellion, our waywardness. He's a loving, forgiving father. He's the father who's scanning the horizon, just as Dom had his binoculars out looking for the young son. He's there, looking out for us, longing to invite us back, to forgive us, to throw a party, to restore us in our relationship with him and with those around us. So it's great news that we don't have to live with guilt and shame, whatever it is we've done wrong, however rebellious we've been, maybe as a younger person, maybe as an older person. However much we've been jealous of others, envious, and live with resentments, these things can be forgiven, and God longs to lavish his mercy and his grace upon us and restore us in our walk with him, and to give us the strength to walk lives which honour him. So let's try and remember just one thing from what's been demonstrated in the drama this morning. One thing that I've mentioned over the last few minutes. Just pray that God will have spoken to you in some way. Maybe about his forgiveness. Maybe challenging you about envy or jealousy or rebellion, whatever it might be. We have a loving Father, and that is great news. We're going to close our time together this morning as we worship again in song. You'll have noticed a bit of a theme in the song so far, and we're going to finish with Father in Heaven, how we love you, another reminder.